Welcome to Fighting Stats, the ultimate channel for UFC fans who love statistics and betting breakdowns. I'm your host, Art C, and today I'll be getting you ready for the upcoming UFC fights. Here at Fighting Stats, we have exclusive UFC stats, not available anywhere else, giving us a huge edge over the sportsbooks that help us make money long term. Here at Fighting Stats, we also track how often they throw that left jab or that right hook from southpaw, how often they're moving back, or how much time is spent in side control versus full mount. We have all of that information, but that's not it. We pair that with our tape study here. We're going to go through the fights. We're going to watch for fighters' strengths, weaknesses, tendencies, and overall strategies to help you get prepared for the upcoming UFC fights. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome to Fighting Stats. So Natalia Silva is going to be on the blue side here. Rose is going to be on the red side. I'm going to just go through the numbers and then sort of what I saw on tape, and then you guys can tell me if you guys agree or disagree. Again, Natalia Silva is almost a minus 500 favorite now, so just keep that in mind when you're looking at these breakdowns because minus 380, 400 almost. You can see right off the bat, right, Natalia Silva here, this is her opponents, right? Most of her wins coming from decision. She's a Taekwondo background, so she's going to be really light on her feet, a lot of kicks, and she circles around a lot of lateral movement. We'll talk about the breakdown first. I just want to go into the numbers and then show you what the numbers actually mean. So, yeah, Taekwondo background, distance striker, right? 94% of her strikes landed coming from a distance. Only 3% in the clinch, 3% on the ground, right? If she has her way, she's standing, keeping it fight standing, things like that. In terms of target breakdown, she does mix it up quite a bit. 59% to the head, 22% to the body, and then 20% to the legs. A lot of high kicks, low kicks, push kicks, things like that. So target breakdown, mixing it up. And then the striking accuracy, 36% head strike accuracy. 66 to the body and 92 to the legs, and then the output is pretty high. It's not too bad. 19 strikes landed in round number 1, 26 in round 2 and 3, and then you can see strikes thrown around 46 to 55. Does have 2 knockdowns, one coming in the first round and one coming in the third round here. And then in terms of target breakdowns, looks like she goes 9 significant strikes to the head in round 1, and then 17 in rounds 2 and 3. Leg kicks 5, 4, and 5 sort of thing. So the detailed breakdown here. So just wanted to highlight here a lot of strikers here on this list, right? Alexa Grasso, Jessica Andrade, Viviane Araujo, Andrea Lee, Leonardo Bleda is probably a grappler, and then Jasmine's kind of a grappler there as well. So just wanted to highlight like a lot of strikers here, but you can see here under the significant strike differential there, she's almost every single round she's outlanded her opponent in significant strikes. The last knockdown though was against Victoria Leonardo in round number 1, so it's been a little bit of time since that happened, and you can see here, distance striking again, she's going to be at a distance almost all the time in the fight. And then head target we talked about, average 74%, but she mixes in the head targets. Just wanted to talk about some of the leg kicks. I like to look at the leg kicks numbers. 7 leg kicks against Alexa Grasso, and in round number 1, 4 and 3, and then 7 against Andrade. Again, she sticks and moves a lot, so those low kicks come pretty easy, but they're more. Again, I call her Taekwondo because it's more like point fighting. They get points for touching people, right? And there's not a ton of power, so she does land this volume, but there's not a lot of power behind it. And then I have this new column here called strikes times significant strikes. This is sort of like a multiplier to determine how many strikes, because there's a difference between strikes and significant strikes. And you can see here with Natalia Silva, almost all because she's standing at a distance, her strike numbers are going to be pretty similar to her significant strike numbers, because she doesn't strike in the clinch and doesn't strike on the ground sort of thing. So decent numbers striking wise. Defensive striking is pretty impressive as well. Again, 94% of the strikes landed at a distance. Same sort of target breakdown against, 54 to the head, 21s to the legs. This head strike accuracy, defensive head strike accuracy, pretty good at 26%. Very hard to connect cleanly on her because she moves around a lot. 54% body strike accuracy and 66% leg strike accuracy. So those leg strike accuracy against normally within the high 80s to 90s. Again, it's very hard to land on her because she's moving around so much. So low defensive accuracy, which is a good thing because she's not eating too many strikes, right? And then you can see it here in terms of average significant strikes landed, 11, 13, and 11. Very hard to land and never been knocked down because, again, she moves around a lot. And then when she does take damage, 6 head strikes per round in round 1, 7 in round 2, and then 5 in round 3. So very hard to connect cleanly. And again, it's because all that movement there. Most of the times, because you can't really land on her. You can see Alexa Grasso landed 7 round 1, 13, 20, 28 head strikes in round number 1, or in that fight. Jessica Andrade about 17, 33 for Jessica Andrade, and then Viviane Rouge. So again, she's not eating a lot of head damage. Most of the times, because she moves around a lot, people like to throw a lot of leg kicks because that's the only thing that they can really reach. So she is absorbing some leg kicks, but she seems to be, bouncing around well. Haven't really seen her limp on the legs or have to switch stances too much there. Going over to Rose Namajunas now. Again, remember, she was a former champion. That was at 115. She's now moved up to 125. She's fought some bigger girls. At 115, she was, probably rightly sized. And then when moving up to 125, a little bit harder as she's more sometimes the undersized girl. But she sort of relies on speed, movement. She's pretty well-rounded, actually. Does everything really well and hard to really poke holes at her. So 83% of her strikes coming from a distance, 7% in the clinch, 10% on the ground. Her target breakdown more head heavy at 72%, 19 towards the body and 9% towards the leg. Head strike accuracy pretty similar to Natalia at 36% head strike, leg strike at 82%. And then the volume landed significant strikes by around 19, 19, then 13, 13, and 17. So first 2 rounds are her best 2 rounds, and then she slows down a little bit in terms of the output. But again, she doesn't have a ton of 5-round experience, so cardio is not really an issue. This fight being a 3-round fight, again, cardio, I don't see cardio coming into this at all. Rose does have 6 knockdowns, 4 of them coming in round 1, and then 1 in rounds 2 and 3. She did knock down Miranda Maverick in round number 3 last. Ended up winning a decision in that fight. And then you can see head target by round, again 14, 15, 9, right? But again, she's fighting different type of fighters. She has a mixed Miranda Maverick striker, Blanchfield grappler, Cortez wrestler, Rebus striker. So she has a sort of a mixed bag of different opponents. So there is decent tape on how she reacts in different situations. Defensive striking, though, you can see her similar numbers to Natalia Silva, 24% head strike defense, which is pretty good, 63 to the body and 82 towards the leg. Similar, just a little bit more in terms of strikes absorbed per round, 15, 18, and 15 for Rose in rounds 1, 2, and 3, and has never been knocked down in the UFC, so that's worth noting there. Pretty durable, and again, she moves around a lot as well. Never been knocked down, good stat there. Mixes and kicks, lots of kicks and stuff landed, and you can see some of these significant strikes absorbed per. Yeah, there are some multiplier. A lot of them are one times, right? So a lot of distance striking in a lot of these fights, but she does mix some grappling, and I want to go over to that grappling because I do think that it could play a difference here in this fight. So. Let's quickly move over to the grappling here, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So Natalia Silva, again, mostly going to be a grappler. Distance striker, 94%. She's not going to grapple here in this fight, I don't think. She can. What she tends to do is sometimes, like in the Jasmine fight, right? Jasmine tries to engage in the clinch, get her up against the fence, and then Natalia Silva will actually reverse her and get some takedowns here. So, she got, she attempted 1 takedown. It was like a hip toss, and she got 2 takedowns in round number 2 against Jasmine because Jasmine engaged in the grappling. But otherwise, if she has her way, she's not looking to grapple here. Those were the only 2 takedowns she's really landed in the UFC. But again, she does hip toss a little bit. She does have some judo in terms of takedowns. But again, she's not looking for it. It's more counter grappling than anything. So I won't really touch on that. I don't think that she's going to get Rose down and control her down at the ground. I did want to talk about this defensive grappling here, though. And this is where I sort of try to plead my case here. So, again, we talked about the type of fighters that Natalia Silva has fought. A lot of strikers, right? A Glasgow Grasso, Mexican boxer, attempted one takedown in round one, in round two, round three again, didn't land any, right? So, before that, Jessica Andrade, power puncher, not really a wrestler, attempted one takedown in round three, didn't get it. Viviane Araujo was probably the most takedown attempts that she saw. Vivi kind of struggled to close the distance, attempted 9 takedowns in the fight, only getting one takedown though. But in the one takedown that Vivi did get, she got, well, it wasn't all from the takedown, but she ended up getting 211 seconds. Each round is 300 seconds, so 200 out of 300 seconds of control time. Vivi ended up holding Silva up against the fence here for the control time. Silva wasn't able to really circle off or pummel under, so she can be held up against the fence against stronger girls. So Viviane pretty strong, able to hold her. Silva couldn't pummel and circle off. That kind of concern, but she ended up winning that fight. But it was a close fight, 29-28 for Natalia Silva. It wasn't like she blew Araujo out of the water there. Now, Andrea Leading attempted takedown. Leonardo attempted one, and I think this one was the one she gets head kicked, and then ended up being a TKO win because I think Leonardo just ended up quitting, sort of thing. It was like a standing TKO. And then Bleda was the last real wrestler, grappler sort of thing. She attempted 7 takedowns, getting one in round number 2. Somehow, I can't remember how, but she did get a takedown. Her top time in round number 1 got 139 seconds of control. I'll move it up so you guys can see 139 seconds of control here in round number 1, and 147 seconds of control in round number 3, or round number 2. I'll show you this to you. I'll go in and show it to you, but this one, it's concerning because Bleda did get top time, and then what Natalia Silva did on bottom was just close guard, double overhooks, really try to control the posture and look at the referee to sort of stand them up. Now, I know this was a couple of years ago, but it's really the only sample size that we have of Natalia Silva really being flat on her back, fighting a real grappler and stuff, right? And then you talk about the Jasmine fight, right? This one was the UFC debut for Natalia Silva. Jasmine came out, the striking defense of Jasmine's never been great. She's sort of a punching bag on the feet, and that's why we took Manal Fiorio over Jasmine. And similar thing where she couldn't close the distance, couldn't really get a hold of Natalia Silva, and then when she did on the fence, she was really looking overly for trips. So she attempted 2 takedowns in round number 1. Jasmine did 3 takedowns in round 2, and then 1 takedown in round 3. She didn't get any takedowns at all. But again, most of those takedowns were up against the fence, trips against the fence. Natalia Silva does seem to have some good balance there. But overall, she's seen 26 takedowns, only allowed 2 of them. So pretty good takedown defense on paper. If you're looking at takedown defense, obviously elite numbers, but just in terms of the context of who she's getting the takedowns against. Now, Rose is not a huge grappler by any means, right? She's not a huge wrestler, but she does average takedowns. She does mix them up, right? So on average, shoots about 0.8 takedowns in round 1, 1.1 in round 2, and 0.9 in round number 3. On average, getting about 0.4 takedowns landed in rounds 1, 2, and 3, and it goes up into rounds 4 and 5 there. And then you can see average control by round, 40 seconds round 1, 57 in round 2, and 54 in round 3. I bring this up because, again, she attempted 2 takedowns on Miranda Maverick, got her down twice, 185 seconds of control, got on top against Maverick in round 3 because from the knockdown, had 193 seconds of control, right? When she does grapple, she's pretty good. Erin Blanchfield, obviously, you don't want to grapple with her. Erin Blanchfield being pretty good on the ground on bottom. So if you're fighting Blanchfield, you're not going to take her down or want to take her down. Tracy Cortez, same thing, sort of a wrestler. And then Rose Namajunas just ended up picking her apart at range, but still was able to wrestle. The wrestler got Tracy Cortez down 5 times in that fight. 23 seconds of control in round 1, 227 in round 2, and I'll show you a highlight in this. It's just the difference in the takedown. So Rose is not shooting typical double legs to get the fight down to the ground. She does this thing where she strikes into the clinch, and then it's part of the combo. It's like a 1-2 push outside trip and then gets the takedown. It came super easy against Tracy Cortez. And again, Tracy Cortez is a wrestler, and Rose was getting those takedowns real easy. Same thing with Ribas. Got some control time on Ribas. Manon Fiorot, then this fight's interesting. Everybody points to this one because the reason I went back to look at this is that Manon Fiorot, also sort of a French kickboxer, light on her feet, a lot of lateral movement, but the difference is that Manon Fiorot has some really good takedown defense. She's really big for the division as it is. Against Rose is coming up from 115 to 125, and so it's going to be hard for her to get those takedowns anyway. Manon Fiorot has some good counter grappling, getting back up to her feet. And the thing in this fight is that Rose ended up injuring her pinky, I believe, in round number one. So really didn't have a right hand at all in this fight. And that fight still ended up being competitive, 29-28 for Fiorot. Ended up winning that. But Rose was doing some damage on the feet. Rose was winning on the feet, even with just a left hand. And then Fiorot just being bigger, she attempted takedowns, wasn't able to get them. She attempted 6, wasn't able to get them. And then Carla Esparza's wrestler, Zhang Weili, even that she got Zhang Weili down in round 5. That one, because Weili sort of gassed a little bit, got a decent number of control. And then Andrade as well. So all that to say, she does mix in the takedowns when she needs the takedowns, and I think that it could play a difference here. So I'm just keeping it in mind and trying to see how the fight will play out. Again, we're talking about all of the fight time here, so this is our time breakdown for fighting stats. 77. We already talked about just the percentage of time for Natalia Silva is going to be spent standing. When she's on bottom, she really doesn't have much sample size of being on the bottom against Araujo, Leonardo. Not a lot of seconds there. So for Rose, again, when she's on top, so if she does get on top, she's going to stay in full guard here for 61% of the time, and half guard in 25% of the time. So not much finishing ability in those full and half guards. Silva does have an arm guard that she likes to go to, so the arm bar is there, but I don't think that she's going to get Rose with an arm bar. And then the bottom we don't really need to talk about because I don't think Silva's going to look for the ground or submission there. So one thing here I wanted to talk about, so this is our striking tendencies here. So Natalia Silva, right away you can look at her kicking numbers. 33% of her strikes involve some sort of kick. 73% single strike rate. So a lot of single shots, a lot of kicks built in. 8% 1-2 rate. On the Rose side, not as many kicks, 16% kicking rate, but same sort of 70% single strike rate. And this is our striking tendencies. So you can see Natalia is going to be 34% is that single jab. She does have a nice quick jab, not a ton of power behind it, but then she goes left high kick and then right high kick. So 20% of the time it's going to be high kicks. 8% is the 1-2, 8% is that lead hook, and then even 6% the lead low kicks, right? So she doesn't actually throw the rear low kick, which is kind of interesting. She's sort of more hits you with the lead low kick, more of a touching point sort of thing. And then again on Rose side, it's kind of blocked off, but 28% single jab, 26% is a single 2, and then she mixes up the 2-1 with the 1-2. So very kind of basic striking, but she does mix them there. So all that to say that the numbers on paper are pretty similar. Natalia Silva does have this, she's good at what she does, but she's sort of one-dimensional in that she does what she does and she does good at it. And we really haven't seen the sample size of Natalia Silva off of her back or having to grapple in a grappling heavy match. And so it does concern me laying the big juice on Natalia Silva. Let me just bring up this is the Bleda fight. So we're going to watch some tape here just to make my case. Let's go back here. So Bleda clinching here. Here's the clinch. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about when they're in the clinch here, right? So Natalia Silva's not looking to grapple, but Bleda's looking to pull her down. She's trying to trip her back, but Natalia Silva does have these good hip tosses. So from here, looks to counter, switches her hips, and gets the hip toss here. But look, Bleda uses the fence, reverses the position, and gets back up. Here it is again. Here's the next one here. The next pushing her off the fence here. She tries the same hip toss again. Doesn't get it. Bleda trying to put it. So pretty good balance from Silva so far. More clinching. A lot of clinching here. So here. So goes for that trip again. Bleda rolls with it. and gets on top. There, like this position here, Silva should have kept this top position here and maintained this top control, but she let Bleda get back on top, reverse it, and then put her on bottom. Again, this was a couple of years ago, so I get it, but this is Natalia Silva off of her back now, and this is her. She's this is what I'm talking about. Double overhooks, controlling the posture, not really looking to escape here. I think there is a half guard sweep here where I think it's right here actually. Looking to sweep to that side, but again, see double overhooks, right? Triangles the leg, really not looking to get up. She's just really looking to control the posture. Control, 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 right? Control, control. Still on bottom, still overhooks. And then finally, she uses this half guard sweep. And then she uses it to get on top. So I don't know if she's going to do this to Rose, if she gets Rose to the same position. But now it's Natalia Silva on top. I don't know if she does much. Oh, Bleda gets her in a triangle, actually. Look at this. From the grappling, Bleda from bottom gets her in this triangle. There's a minute and 11 seconds left. The triangle lock is on the ground, though. And so the arm is out. She can transition to an armbar, a triangle armbar. I think that, if this is a lot of, it is pretty close, pretty deep, this armbar here and the triangle lock is gone. But the armbar is tight, right? And she eventually survives the round and gets out of it. The referee stands her back up. So this is really the only time we've really seen Silva on bottom, and it's not a great look. The other time she fought Viviane Araujo. Let me show you that one. Okay, so similar in the clinch right here against the fence. We've seen this good balance here. This is Araujo trying this pull down, using the hand as the post, keeping her head up. Vivi actually, pulls her. She has to pull the post away. She doesn't pull it. I don't know if that was a takedown, but this is no, she didn't get a takedown round one. This is Araujo controlling her on the fence. Sylvia couldn't break the grip, couldn't circle off, right? This is 3 minutes control. And then, you know what? Araujo was winning this round. She was winning 4 minutes of this round. She probably should have won this round. But then at the very end here, for the last 15 seconds, Silva lands a couple of strikes. Araujo lands a right hand here as well, I believe. There's a head kick. There's a couple of left hands for Araujo. I think she could have stolen that round, but the judges gave Silva that round. And because of that, she actually winning the fight because of that. So let me see if there's an actual takedown. Don't remember. Here's more clinching. I think if she got a takedown, it was brief. There wasn't much bottom ground time from Araujo. But again, this fight was close. Araujo was landing. Silva was eating the strikes. I don't think it's here. Yeah. And it ended up being 29-28. Okay. So a lot of the people that are attempting the takedowns against, right? So her, and even Mark Smith has to break her up. So she was pressed up against the fence. She couldn't circle off, and then Mark Smith had to break her up and bring her back up to space. So she can be held against the fence, and she can be held onto the ground. So I just wanted to flag that as a potential thing. Now, let me just go over to the Rose side. Let me show you the Tracy Cortez. Okay, Tracy Cortez being a pretty good grappler, right? Pretty good wrestler. Here. Oh, this one, she got her with a jab. That's how she got the top time. Dropped her with a jab, and now she's on top. 3 minutes and 15 seconds on top. Full guard, full guard. And I'm just going to fast forward all of this. She ends up actually just getting up and letting Cortez up. Right? She gets up, lets Cortez up. It's not like Cortez got up from bottom. Okay. So let me show you round 2. That was the jab again, the replay. Uh, well, Tracy Cortez goes for a trip, outside trip, gets onto the back. Outside trip already gets up, gives up her back a little bit. Tracy Cortez jumps on the back. Natalia Silva, I don't think is doing this. So okay, so this is the trip I'm talking about here. This is the combo that one jumping knee, flying knee, backs up, tries to time it, outside kick. One outside trip into a takedown instantly. So look here, from here, it's part of the combo. It's like one fakes the overhand right, gets the hands up, goes outside trip, gets to the hips, immediately gets the takedown on top. This was only 12 seconds left, so she ends up on the round on top. And the John Anik or Dominic Cruz is like how Rose gets this in every fight that she fights. She loves that takedown and gets it on everybody. And let's go here to round 3. Here's that same takedown. That same one she goes to, right? In the clinch, in the clinch, in the clinch. Backs up to space. From here is that right hand. Grabs the leg, outside trip. Tracy Cortez falls down. Like Tracy Cortez is a wrestler, not a Taekwondo girl. And then right away steps into mount. So you're mounting a wrestler in Tracy Cortez. You're telling me, yeah, Natalia Silva has good takedown defense, which she does, but have we seen her in this position? We've seen her once against Bleda, and she almost got submitted. She wasn't really doing much on bottom, right? This is Tracy Cortez, a wrestler, not really able to get up. She had to use the fence to get up and actually reverse the position. She was lucky she was on the fence, and Rose tries to keep top position. Rose is on top and then grappling. So same takedown. Oh, Tracy goes inside trip here. Rose reverses, gets on top. Tracy's a wrestler. And Rose ragdolling her on the ground. Ground and pound, steps over, gets back to mount again. Onto the back, puts in the choke. So, I don't think you can lay minus 400 on Natalia Silva. I think it's too much of a risk that as soon as Rose lands one of those takedowns, it could be the round. And it's not like Rose is a fish out of water on the feet either. Rose is very hard to hit. And the biggest thing about this fight is that this fight probably to go to decision is like minus 500, minus 400 to go to decision. Like, I don't, Rose has never been knocked down. Silva's never been knocked down. The volume, the outside kicking game of Natalia Silva, she doesn't really sit down on her punches, a lot of touching. So you're looking at minus 400, minus 500 for this fight to go to decision. Now you're going to lay minus 400 on somebody that sticks and moves in point fights. And that sort of is a liability on the ground if it gets there to try to cover that price. And you're relying on the judges to sort of see it, right? Silva had 29-28 against Araujo. Rose had a 29-28 against Manal Furiot when she broke her hand, and she still landed that fight. So I think that Rose can make it very close. And a 29-28 Natalia Silva doesn't surprise me at all. A submission from Natalia Silva surprises me, and a cold knockout surprises me, unless it's like from a head kick. But otherwise, I think the fight goes to decision. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to be looking at some spread bets here, I think. I don't know if I'm going to get to a Rose straight up bet, but I think it's dog or pass. I don't think you can lay the minus 400 here and, be confident when the fight goes to decision that you're going to win your bet. So long breakdown, 30 minutes on one fight, but that's how we do it here. That's what I see, and that's what I saw in the tape study. Well, that is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this type of content, make sure you smash that like button. Hit the subscribe. You get notified anytime we put out new content. Remember, for 2025, Fighting Stats is on an absolute record-breaking heater. We were up over 350 units. That's $150,000 just from betting on UFC. Now, if you take a look at this profit chart here, it wasn't one or two big parlays that got us there. It was consistent wins week over week, month over month. We put in our time. We put in the tape study. We looked at all the fighting stats and we got there. The record speaks for itself. Now, our exclusive Patreon members get access to our live betting watch party where we watch and live bet on UFC together. That's an additional 100 units that we made live betting on UFC today. I tell you what to bet and I tell you when to bet it, so you can join us today. Again, all of that's available at patreon.com/fightingstats. Good luck.